Right, so we're gonna get this thing started in just about 2 more minutes. In just about 2 more minutes, we'll get this thing on the road, family. So go ahead and send this link out to anybody that you guys know that want this information, that wants this sauce. Because like I said, we're gonna have some fun today with this stream, and we're gonna have some fun, guys, marking up charts, figuring out if there's any opportunities that we should be looking into going into this week. Right, so we're gonna give it 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes, family. We're gonna get this thing started. Let's get it. Drop your locations in the chat. Drop your locations in the chat, family. Let me know where you're tuning in from right now. Let me know your locations, guys. Let me know your locations. Again, send this link out to everybody. This is free sauce. This is free value. Y'all ain't paying nothing for this. And y'all ain't gonna have to pay no more. Because I'm gonna give you guys that value for free, family. Right, let's go ahead and send out this link. Send out this link. Drop your locations in the chat as well. We're gonna get this thing started, guys, in just a little bit. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Hey, hey. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yes, family, what's going on, guys? Welcome to today's session with your boy Abel. Super excited to be here with every single one of y'all that's checking in, family. If you guys are appreciative of these streams that I'm about to provide for you guys, go ahead and just like this video real quick. Go ahead and just smash that like button for me. It definitely helps me out tremendously, right? Because my goal, guys, is to really provide a lot of value to everybody that's truly wanted to master trading, right? Because trading itself is not an easy thing to do. Trading itself, guys, takes some time, takes energy, takes money, takes patience, takes discipline, right, to truly master. If you really aspire to become a trader, right, if you aspire to be a profitable trader, guys, and that's what these sessions are here for, right, to provide you guys with some clarity in these markets, provide you guys with some type of value that you guys can implement into your trading already that can help you guys get a little bit better, right? Because trading itself is learning an entirely new language, family, and when it comes to learning any new language, it is going to take some time you have to put in. But it's not impossible neither, right? It's not impossible to be a full-time trader, guys, right? It's not impossible to be a profitable trader. It really just comes down to you and your ability to master your own emotions, right? Compose yourself, create a strategy or find a strategy that gives you an edge in the market. And as long as you put that all together, then you can eventually start to see consistency, right? Consistency, guys, right? Do not come on these sessions, guys, only to try to figure out the trade ideas that are going to be given out, right? No, come on these sessions with the intentions of truly wanting to learn, right? How many of you guys in the chat right now, family, actually want to learn how to do this, right? Let me know in the chats, guys. Right, see, we got Texas in the building. We got Michigan. What up, what up, what up? We got Jacksonville, North Carolina. What's going on, Andrew? Good to see you. We got my guy Devin in the building. Right, what's going on? We got Ohio in the house, New Orleans in the building. We got Croatia on the check-in as well. Right, what is going on, family? Shout out to every single one of y'all that's tuning in right now. And I believe the only way that you can actually comment as well in the chat is if you are actually subscribed to the channel, guys. It is free to subscribe, right? There's no fee for this. So if you actually want to comment in the chat as well, go ahead and just smash that subscribe button for me. Again, it does help me out tremendously. And it motivates me to continue doing these streams, and it motivates me to continue providing you guys with as much value as possible, guys. So go ahead and like this video. Go ahead and make sure to be subscribed as well if you want to interact in the chat, because like I said, we're gonna have a phenomenal session today, and I'm excited, guys, because again, this is what I truly love doing. Right, I was having a conversation with my wife the other day, right, and I asked her first of all what her true desires were, right? Like, what do you truly desire, right? And she said that she desires to just be a more, a stay-at-home mom, which she already is, right? But be a more present parent to our 3 children, which is absolutely amazing, right? But when it came to me, right, my true desires, guys, is just to really help people. Like, that's really what I enjoy doing, is just helping people, right? I truly enjoy seeing somebody go from a situation right here that they're not excited about, right, to then go ahead and go to another completely situation that they're extremely excited about. That's my desires. I desire to continue to be a person of influence, a person of value. I desire to impact the masses. I desire to go ahead and make an impact in somebody's life, guys. Now, that's a question I want to ask y'all real quick, right? Because this is important here, guys, right? Have you guys actually thought about what you truly desire in life? I want you guys to really think about this. What are your guys' true desires, right? What is your true desire? Like, what is it that you desire the most in this life that you're currently living? Go ahead and answer that in the chat, family, right? Let me know in the chat, right? What do you truly desire? What is your true desire? Like, you have to really think about this, right? Because this is a question that you're normally not asked. I'm pretty sure you've probably never been asked this question before. What is your true desire? Right? But that's such a deep question, guys, because whatever your true desire is what you have to pursue. Right? So go ahead and answer this in the chat. What is your true desire? What are you currently desiring in life? Again, I desire to be an educator, right? Provide value, help people grow, help people out of crazy situations. That's my desire, right? I like helping people. That's really what I love to do. Right? So what is your guys' true desire, guys? Right? I see we got Florida in the building. What's going on, Cindy? How are you doing? We got Chicago in the house. What is up? What is up? Trinidad and Tobago in the building. What is going on? Shout out to you guys out there in Trinidad. Right? Abel the Sauce Man. Cali checking in. I see you. BTCJ. What's going on? How are you doing? Right? Big Griff. You desire to impact, to give. I love that. Right? I love that. Right? I love that. Right? That's amazing. That's truly my desire as well, is to give, to be a giver. Right now, this is the thing about giving, guys, right? If you're like myself, who you truly desire to give, then we have to do it with no expectations of anything in return, because that really shows your true intention, right? I like to give without no expectations of nothing in return, right? Because if you expect something in return, then are their intentions really there? Right? So that's just something to think about, guys, right? If you have not thought about that just yet, what your true desire is, I want you guys to really think about that today. Right? Today, really think about what you truly desire in this world, create a plan around it, and then go ahead and attack it. Right? It's that simple. Right? See, we got Belgium in the building. What is going on? Shout out to you guys out there in Belgium. I see y'all. Right? Let's see. My guy Devin desires to be teaching this skill set. You have a desire to help the masses, which is amazing. Right? We got my guy Jermaine in the building. Shout out to you, Jermaine. I appreciate you on the check-in, bro. So let's go ahead and get into this, guys, and really see what we got, though, right? And as usual, at the beginning of every single week, guys, it's very important for us to really just, take a look at the calendar, right? A fundamental news event, right? Fundamental news events, guys, occur throughout this entire week, and it always happens, right? And as a Forex trader, it's very important for you to be aware of when volatility is going to enter these markets, right? So we're going to go through this calendar very, very quickly, guys, and then we're going to go ahead and get into the markets and just look at overall weekly outlooks, right? It's going to be more higher time frame analysis, more bigger picture outlooks, right? Because I want you guys to really see what we could expect to occur going throughout this entire week. All right, so let's go ahead and get started, guys. Now, tomorrow, we don't have no news whatsoever, at least no high impact news, no red folders. Now, if you guys are new to the stream, guys, if you guys have never actually been on any of my sessions before, right, because I do come from a previous platform where I was providing so much value for 4 years straight, right? But if you've never actually seen me provide value, guys, go ahead and drop a 3 in the chat, a number 3 in the chat, guys, if you guys have never actually been on one of my sessions before, right? Go ahead and just let me know in the chat. I love to see how many newer traders we actually have that are going to continuously jump on these streams. That's exactly what I like to do, guys. So go ahead and drop a 3 in the chat if this is your first time ever on one of my sessions, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to provide you guys with some type of value that can help you out a little bit better. Right now, I'm not going to say that I'm the best trader in the world. I'm not the best educator in the world, guys, but I do have 6+ years of experience that I'm able to share to you guys, right? I'm able to share with y'all so that you guys can go ahead and also become the best trader, eventually become the best trader that you guys aspire to become. Right, so let's see who else we got in the building. We got London in the house. What's going on? Shout out to you, John Kennedy. I see you in the building. Shout out to you for checking in as well. Right now, again, if you guys could do me a favor, family, go ahead and just make sure to like this stream, right? It makes the stream actually go ahead and reach out to a more broader audience, right? YouTube itself, guys, really is only going to share this value, share my content, if it actually shows that people are engaging with the content, right? So go ahead and just like the video for me. It definitely helps me out tremendously. Now, let's go ahead and see what we got here, guys. If you guys are brand new to this, there's calendars that we all have access to, free material, guys, that we can actually keep up to date with certain news events that are going to happen throughout the days. Now, it's important as a Forex trader to be aware of these things, guys, because fundamental analysis or fundamental events truly dictates long-term direction for these markets. So if you really want to have a better understanding, guys, of what the markets can do, then you have to start understanding, guys, what's really happening from a fundamental standpoint. Okay, all you have to do if you want to have access to this specific calendar is go to forexfactory.com. It's probably the calendar that I use the most, right? There is a lot of different calendars out there that you can utilize, but I like to use this one right here, right? forexfactory.com. And what you want to do when you guys first come to this calendar, yours is going to look something like this, right? Where it's going to have a ton of different news events throughout it, right? You're gonna have low impact news events. You're gonna have medium impact news events. You're also gonna have high impact news events, guys. Now I'm gonna show you guys exactly what it will look like when you guys first come here, so that you guys know that you guys are on the right page. And I'm pretty sure you can't get this wrong, right? It's not too hard to see if you're on the right page or not. But let me see if I can come up to the filter. All right, let me see if I can come up and change the filter real quick to see if I can show you guys exactly how it's going to look. Right, because your guys' calendar, especially if this is your first time utilizing Forex Factory, you're gonna have a ton of different news events on it. I'm talking about probably hundreds throughout the week, guys. Look at this right here. Right, look at all these different news events. Right, there is a crap ton of news events that happen throughout the week. Right, I'm talking about a lot of them. Look at this. Right, so do we have to focus on every single one of them? No. All right, yes, every single one might have some type of effect effect overall, guys, but you don't need to focus on all of them, right? We want to focus on the ones that actually have red folders, sometimes the orange ones, right? But mainly the red folders, guys, because the red folders are the news events that can cause a lot of volatility in the markets. So the red folders is what I focus on. So I like to go to the filter tab. I like to uncheck the orange and the yellow, and then I like to click apply filter, and it's gonna only show me the ones, guys, that are high impact expected news events. Okay, now let's see what we got on the radar for this week, guys. So we don't have nothing on the radar for Monday, but going into Tuesday, guys, we do have major news for the US dollar with CPI, core CPI data. Again, this is a big deal, guys. CPI itself reads inflation from a consumer standpoint. Obviously, inflation has been a big deal, guys, that we've been dealing with inflation now for a while, right? And inflation has been going absolutely insane. They're actually expecting inflation to even come out even higher, guys. Now, we have to understand how to react to the markets when we have major data like this, right? Again, CPI readings for the month, right? This is month-to-month basis, right? Is projected to go out higher, guys, 1.2%, which is absolutely crazy. Inflation is still here. Inflation is not going to go anywhere, right? The cost of goods is going to continue to go higher and higher and higher, which is why the Federal Reserve, guys, right, which is why they actually started raising interest rates, right? Them raising interest rates is a way to try to combat inflation, but it doesn't look like that's working. So if this number does come out higher, guys, than expected, or even at 1.2%, then you have to expect the Federal Reserve to go ahead and have to they're going to have to jump up interest rates even higher. Right, as of right now, guys, right, just put things in perspective, right? At the end of last year, the Federal Reserve was expecting to go ahead and raise rates about maybe 2 times, right? They expected maybe two rate hikes throughout this year, right? But once this year started and they realized how bad inflation truly is, now they're saying that they're going to have to raise rates possibly 6 times this year. Right now, when interest rates are going up, we have to understand how that's going to affect these currency markets, guys, because that's absolutely going to affect these markets. So that's something that we really have to pay attention to. We do have CPI readings, guys, on Tuesday, which will shake the markets. Now, we also have the official cash rate and the rate statement for the New Zealand dollar as well on Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Similar concept, guys. Again, this is an interest rate decision here for the New Zealand dollar. Again, it is expected them to raise rates here, right? We have to understand how that's going to influence the New Zealand dollar. And I'm going to get into that in a little bit, right, on how we can read this and pretty much trade the rumors or the predictions so that we can be in the right position moving forward, right? But let's go into Wednesday, guys. On Wednesday, we have pound news. We have CPI year over year for the pound, right? Again, big deal. Anytime we're dealing with anything with CPI, we have to be mindful of that. At 8:30 a.m., we have PPI month over month, which is still very similar, right? It has to do with inflation from a producer standpoint, right? Again, a big deal. And at 10 a.m., guys, for the Canadian dollar, we also have the monetary policy report, the rate statement, the overnight rate, and the Bank of Canada press conference as well. Again, another interest rate decision as well. Now, we also have at 9:30 p.m., guys, for the Australian dollar, we have the employment change and the unemployment rate getting released. Again, another tier 1 data that's getting released that's going to affect the Australian dollar. Now, going into Thursday at 7:45 a.m., for the euro, we have the main refinancing rate and the monetary policy statement. Again, another interest rate decision that's going to get released for this week. Right now at 8:30 a.m., we also have retail sales and core retail sales for the US dollar. Now going into Friday, right, no red folders on Friday, but we do have a ton of bank holidays. We're talking about a ton of them, guys, that are going to influence a lot of the major currencies except for the US dollar. So looking at this calendar, guys, it's going to be a very crazy week, right? It's going to be a very, very crazy week. It's going to be a very, very hectic week. And we really do have to be aware, guys, that this is going to be an extremely volatile week for sure. So please practice risk management more than ever. You should always be practicing risk management, guys, but even more than ever right now, right? Especially with a week that we have coming up. Man, starting Tuesday, guys, we're going to be going into a lot of tier 1 data that's getting released. That's going to influence these markets. We have to be aware of this stuff, right? Because it could shake the markets. Now, I'm not saying this to try to have you guys operating in fear. That's not what I want you guys to do, right? We don't operate in fear here, right? We don't operate with no emotions, right? Or at least we try to control our emotions to a point where we can trade, but we don't want to be fearful, all right? That's not what I'm saying here. What we do want to do is just more so practice proper risk in case the market does not do what we expect because of news, right? This is the thing about trading, guys, right? Trading itself is a very hard thing to do because there's so many factors that influence these markets, right? There's so many different things, guys, that can cause these markets to absolutely go crazy. So yeah, it's very hard to actually trade profitably, right? Not because you can't understand the markets, but because there's so many different news events, so many different things that can influence these markets, guys, and absolutely send these markets going in completely different directions. So we have to be aware of that, and that's why we practice proper risk, right? So that we are okay if the market does go against us. We're not losing too much, right? Because we're only risking a fraction of our account balance, guys. But that's our news for the week. It's going to be a very, very crazy week for sure. Be mindful of that. If you're new to these calls, guys, if you're new to trading in general, right, obviously you're not going to understand too much about how to read or react to any of these news events. But what you can do, guys, is just be aware of the time, right? Pay attention to the time a news release is getting released. Pay attention to the currency that's going to be affected, right? So that you can go ahead and make the decision on whether you want to actually trade. That it's just time to avoid even trading in general. Right? Again, as Forex trader, guys, it's very important for us to really learn how to protect the capital in our account. Right? The number one rule in trading Forex, in my opinion, right? The number one rule in trading Forex, guys, is capital preservation. Right? How good are you at protecting your capital? Right? How good are you at protecting your capital through any event? Right? That's the number one rule here, is capital preservation. Right? We're gonna take losses. It happens. Right? But are you actually managing your account in a way that's going to allow you to continue trading moving forward? That's the big deal here, guys. So again, be mindful. We do have a lot of news coming up. Okay, now let me go ahead and just take a quick look at the chat, see what we got here. Right, let's see. Abel, you always bring the sauce. I appreciate you, Andrew. Right, let's see. My guy Roy Ray, what's going on? I see you in the chats. Let's go, my dude. I appreciate you for tuning in as well. Right, so let's go ahead and see what we got here, though, guys. Right, let's see what we got here in the markets. I'm gonna go ahead and start off, guys, by looking at the dollar index itself. Right, I love utilizing the dollar, guys, when I'm creating my initial bias to start the week, because the US dollar is still the currency reserve of the world. Right, it's the currency that holds the most weight. Right, most of the transactions that occur in the world in this Forex market, majority of it occurs with the US dollar. Right, when big transactions occur in this market, guys, it usually occurs, right, with the US dollar. So we have to be aware of these things. Okay, and we have to be aware of what in my opinion, what the dollar itself could be doing overall. Okay, now the first thing that we want to do, guys, and I'm going to teach you guys again a very simple process that you guys can utilize every single day, right, that can give you guys an idea as to what these markets are about to do. Right, and this process, guys, is as simple as can be. There's no easier way to do this, I promise you. Right, so let's go ahead and get started with this, guys. Now, the first thing you want to do when you guys first come to a chart and you're trying to figure out, right, or you want to start an analysis, right, the first thing you want to do, guys, is identify the trend, right, or identify the flow of that market, right, of the current market that we're seeing, the trend or the flow of the market, right? So if we're looking at the dollar index real quick, right, I want you guys to let me know in the chats, right, what would we say, guys, is the actual bias or the trend for the US dollar right here? What is this trend? Is this uptrend? Is this downtrend? Let me know in the chat. Right, is this a downtrend or an uptrend? Let me know in the chat. Downtrend or uptrend? I want you guys to teach me right now, right? Just by looking at this, are we in an uptrend or a downtrend? Right, by the way, if you guys were on last week's stream, I'm just throwing this out there. Not to toot my own horn, guys, but everything that we said last week exactly came true. Like last week, we made some predictions in the market for a lot of these different pairs and these different currencies, and I'm pretty sure, guys, we were pretty much on par with everything, right? Like everything was literally on par. So last week's stream could have gave you guys a great opportunity to actually find opportunities to get involved in. So again, shout out to all you guys that were a part of last week's stream, because the market played out exactly like we expected it to. Now let's get back to this, guys. What is the trend here? Right, yeah, uptrend, uptrend, right? Exactly. That's not too hard to understand, guys, right? So if we are in an uptrending market, right, and we know we're in an uptrending market, guys, because we're creating a series of higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, right, and so on and so forth. I could continue doing it, but I'm not going to, right? Since we're creating a sequence of higher highs and higher lows in this market, that is telling us that we are in an uptrend for this market. Right, another thing that you guys can do as well is this colorful line that we have on my screen, right? That is what I like to call or not me, but that's what we call a moving average, right? As long as price is staying above the moving average, then we can also utilize that as a way to help us identify a trend, right? So we see that the moving average, which is again the 50 period EMA, right? It is flowing to the upside nicely. Right, but price is generally staying above it. As long as price continues to stay above this moving average, then we are still long-term in uptrend territory. Okay, now if we're in an uptrending market, guys, what should we be looking for? Answer this in the chat. Right, if we're in an uptrend, should we be looking for sells or should we be looking for buys? I mean, it's kind of common sense, right? But I know we have a lot of newer traders on the call that are probably wondering, like, Abel, what do we look for sells since the market has been going up, or should we look for buys because it's been going up, right? Let me know in the chats. What do you guys think? Buys, right? Yeah, that's not too hard. Right, guys, this market right here has been going up. It has been going up, right? So since it has been going up, we want to try to stay with a trend. Again, you're going to have more success or a higher probability of looking for opportunities that go with a trend as opposed to go against the trend. Okay, let me say that one more time. Right? when we identify a trend, you're going to have a higher probability of looking for opportunities to go with the trend as opposed to go against the trend. Okay, so right here, we are in a clear uptrend in this market. So what we could do is look for the next opportunity to go ahead and buy so that we can stay with the trend. Right now, if an uptrend is characterized as higher highs and higher lows, right? If an uptrend is characterized as higher highs and higher lows in the market, and we want to align ourselves with the trend, what should we be looking for? Should we be looking for the next higher high, or should we be looking for the next higher low in this market if we want to align ourselves with the trend? Go ahead and answer this in the chat. And as you do that, let me go ahead and just turn on, I got to turn on this light. There we go. Much better. All right, what should we be looking for? Higher highs or higher lows? Right? Where do we buy from? Do we buy off the higher high that was just created up here? Right? Because we technically just created a higher high, guys. Right? Let's look at structure. We had swing low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Right? And we know because again, this high is broken the previous high. This low is higher than the previous low. Higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, right? So now we have to look for the next opportunity to buy by looking for our next higher low. Guys, write this down somewhere, right? We buy the higher lows in an uptrending market. Right? We buy the higher lows in an uptrending market. Okay, so for the dollar here, guys, I expect, right, long term, more bullishness to come into play. Right? I believe long term, guys, we're going to be looking for some longer term buys. Now, does that say that we can't sell the dollar? I'm not saying we can't sell it. Right? Because obviously if we do get a correction in this market, then that can be an opportunity to sell if you know what you're doing. Right? Yeah, you could definitely sell if you know what you're doing. And then look for buys once you get to a key level. That's a possibility. But if you're newer, then you might just want to look for an opportunity to buy instead of trying to catch every single move in the market. That's what a lot of traders typically do. Right? They'll hear me say, "Hey, Abel's saying that we're going to be buying long term, but we could sell off for now. Let me go ahead and just jump into the sell." And again, you can do what you want. It's your trading account, right? Hey, you do what you got to do, right? Listen, I'm not telling you what to do with your account. You do what you got to do. But again, keep in mind, you're going to have a much higher probability if you're staying with a trend, especially if you're newer, right? Sometimes you got to be patient, right? Sometimes you don't have to try to chase every single opportunity just because you expect the market to do one thing or another. All right, sometimes it's best just to be patient, wait for the best opportunity to look for the next move. Right, so this is what I think is going to happen, guys, in this week. All right, I would love to see the market come back down, right, and then eventually go ahead and continue to the bullish side. Right now, I do want to go ahead and look at the bigger picture real quick. Right, I'm going to go up to the weekly time frame. Right, because we are actually coming into some weekly levels as well that we have to pay attention to. Okay, we are coming up into some weekly levels. Okay, so yeah, we have to be mindful of this because the market itself might start to correct even a little deeper. Right, but for now, we want to stay with what we currently see, and that is that we are still bullish. We are coming up into weekly levels where we could see some reactions from or some rejections, but I am still bullish. Right, from a fundamental standpoint, I'm still extremely bullish the US dollar as well. I mean, again, I've been saying, guys, that we're going to be strong. The dollar was going to be strong for a while now. I've been saying that since last year that the dollar was going to be strong. And we haven't been wrong yet. The dollar has continued to gain strength, right? And it's also because of a lot of the fear that we have in the markets today, right? So from a technical standpoint, we're still bullish. from a fundamental standpoint, we are still bullish. So now it's just about riding out this bullishness that we're seeing. Now, how can we use this information? How can we use this information to our advantage? Right? Well, if we saying we have a bullish dollar, right? Long term. Keep in mind, long term, right? Then that means any pair that ends in USD should go down. Any pair that begins with USD should go up. Right? Very simple way of correlating the dollar itself, guys, to other currency pairs. Right now, again, it's not always going to be, for every pair, it's not going to always be 100% correlation. Right? Because there could be so many other factors as well that might be affecting the other currency. But from a general standpoint, guys, this is as simple as it gets, right? If we're expecting a long-term bullish dollar, then this is what we can look for when we're actually trading currencies itself. Okay? But it's very simple. You want to start off on the bigger picture when you're doing your first initial analysis for the week and identify the overall flow of this market. Okay? Now that we identified the flow, I want to go ahead and get straight into looking at currency pairs that we're probably going to actually want to trade anyways, or that we can actually trade, right? So I'm going to go ahead and start off with Euro USD, right? Just because Euro USD is usually going to be the easiest one to trade, especially if you like to analyze the dollar itself, because Euro USD does the exact opposite of the US dollar. Like I'm talking about the exact opposite, right? Because the dollar index, guys, what is it, right? The dollar index, right, is an index that measures the strength of the US dollar against a bucket of other currencies, right? I don't know exactly how many currencies are in this bucket, right? But the majority of this bucket is made up of the euro. Like a big portion of it is made up of the euro. So the US dollar is mainly being traded against the euro, right? So that's why they have such a strong negative correlation to each other. So if we are looking at long-term bullishness for the dollar index, what should we be looking for the Euro USD? If we're expecting the dollar to gain strength, what could we be looking for Euro USD, guys? Go ahead and answer this in the chat, family. Right, let me know in the chat. Right, what should we be looking for Euro USD? Let me know in the chat. Let's see. Sells, yeah, exactly. Evangelica. I hope I said that right. Right, yeah. Right, if we're looking at this market, first of all, let's not overcomplicate things, guys. What is the flow of this market? This thing is clearly bearish. This thing is clearly in a downtrend. The market is clearly going to the downside, which means the euro is losing strength against the US dollar. Okay, the euro is losing strength against the US dollar. That's what we're seeing here. Right? So if we see that this market, guys, is flowing to the downside, bow, then we should be looking for opportunities to get involved, right? And the way we do that is by looking for sells. Now, the characteristics of a downtrend are what? How do we know that this is a downtrend besides us just looking at it? Right? What do we know? What is structure telling us here? Who knows this in the chat? Who knows this in the chat, guys? What is structure telling us here? Right? What is structure telling us with this market here? Right? What is structure doing? Right? Well, structure is creating lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. You guys see where we're going with this. Lower lows, lower high. And now we're at the process of about to be creating a new lower low. Right now we haven't created a new lower low just yet, but we're in the process of doing that probably this week. Okay? So we can see that we've been making lower lows and lower highs here, which is telling us we're in a downtrend. Right now, if we want to align ourselves with this downtrending market, what should we be looking for? Should we be looking for a lower low, or should we be looking for our lower high? Right? Remember, in an uptrend, we want to buy the higher low. But in a downtrend, we sell the what? What do we sell here on a downtrend? If we buy the higher low in an uptrend, right? In a downtrend, we sell the what? Let's see. Shout out to Glamorous. Yep, exactly. Right? Downtrend, we sell the lower high. We look for the next lower high so that we can get involved. Right? Look at this. Okay, we had lower low. Whoops. Wrong thing. Right? We see this right here. We have lower low right here. The market came up, created a lower high. This could have been an opportunity to look for a sell. Right? Same thing. Lower low, lower high. This could have been an opportunity to look for sells on the formation of the lower high. Right now we're pushing back down, where again we haven't created an ultimate low just yet. We broke this internal low, right? But we didn't break this one yet. But still, we can expect a potential. I mean, price can just continue dropping, by the way, right? It doesn't have to pull back. But what we could do, and the safest thing to do in my opinion, is to look for the next potential higher low or lower high. And then off that next lower high, we look for an entry to ride out to the lows. Right now, a big reason, guys, why I also like to use this moving average is because I want to trade as close as possible to that moving average. Right? That's a nugget. Right? Because this moving average, guys, it pretty much acts like a magnet. Right? It acts like a magnet. Every time price pushes away from it, it always wants to pull back. Right? Because there's the ebbs and flows of this market, right? Supply and demand, right? Obviously, it happens, right? It's going to push away, come back. So the closer we are to the aqua, the better it is for us to be prepared for that next potential move. Right now, guys, we're pretty far away from the aqua. Right now, again, price doesn't have to it doesn't have to correct just yet if it doesn't want to. Right? But if we're looking at things that we're trying to be, prepared, then we want to see it as close as possible to the aqua. And this goes for any time frame, by the way. Right? Everything that I'm doing right now, guys, is on the daily time frame, but it really does correlate with any time frame that we're looking at, the same stuff we're teaching. Right? So yeah, we want to look for the next lower high to go ahead and get involved. It's that simple. Okay? Now let's actually start going a lower time frame. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to highlight some key levels, right, that we can really go ahead and focus on going into this week. Right? So we have this key level right here of structure. Right, previous level of support, price broke through it. It started to act as resistance numerous amount of times. Right, so that's one key level that we can focus on. Right, another key level, guys, that I'm also going to be looking at is going to be this level right here as well. Okay, because this level also created a minor level of support, and price bounced off this minor level of support, and then we just now came and broke that minor level of support. Okay, so that's also another level, guys, that I'm very interested in keeping my eye on. Right now, again, when we're creating these key levels, guys, all we got to do is just identify areas where price has reacted from in the past so that we can utilize that information to try to predict the future. Okay, we use previous price action to help us predict future price action. Okay, and then we also obviously have this low down here, which we pretty much just tapped into. And that's pretty much our levels of structure, guys, that I'm very, very interested in. All right, now let's start going down lower time frame and see what we can find on lower time frame, right? So now I'm going to go to the 4 hour. And on the 4 hour, guys, all I'm really doing is trying to find an area, right, that might make a little bit of sense for us to pay attention to. Right, an area of structure. Okay, now as you go through different time frames, you're going to realize that there's going to be a lot of different areas of structure. All right, let me go back to Euro USD real quick. All right, as you go down time frame, guys, you're going to have other levels of structure that you can pay attention to. Okay, and that's fine, right? Different levels of structure are something you still want to pay attention to. All right, let me go ahead and bring up the actual correct Euro USD. Let's see, and if you guys have any questions, by all means, definitely ask the questions, right? That's the whole point of these streams, right? Yeah, it's to look for opportunities, right? Get us prepared for the week, but it's really just to provide you guys with clarity. Right, let's see, is that an EMA? Yes, it is, right? That is an EMA, all right? Exponential moving average. Okay, so on the 4 hour time frame, guys, what are we seeing? Right, we're starting to see price, or at least what I like to look at is I like to read price action, guys, right, when we're at key levels, right? Again, it's very important for us to identify levels of structure, but then we have to read the price action around those areas of structure, right? That's how price action and market structure come together, right? Because those are like components of the market itself, right? We identify structure levels, right, that we can expect reactions from, and then we read price action from those levels. So what I'm reading here, guys, is we're at this support, and we're starting to see price, get a little choppy, right? Like the momentum that we've been seeing is definitely starting to slow down right now for Euro USD. Now, does that mean that we can expect a potential reversal? It's definitely a possibility, right? It's definitely a possibility for sure, right? That's probably what I'm leaning towards, right? And if you guys understand how divergence works, you can utilize tools like the RSI, the MACD, the stochastic, right? You can utilize all these oscillators or these indicators to also help you predict divergence, which can also help you identify if the market is getting ready to actually reverse, right? So looking at Euro USD, guys, right here, we do have some bullish divergence that's actually showing, right? The indicator itself, which is a momentum-based indicator, it's already going up. It's creating higher highs and higher lows over here on the indicator. But look at price. Price is still creating lower lows and lower highs, right? This is when price is divergent against each other. And this could be a clue telling you that the market is getting ready to actually reverse, right? So since we are seeing this, I truly believe that there is a potential for price to go ahead and actually correct to the upside. Right now, do we look for buys since we have a potential correction higher? Again, if you know what you're doing, if you're experienced, you do what you do, right? But if you're not too experienced, then again, maybe it just might be safe for you to look for price to come to the key level. And then from that key level, you can look for an entry to go lower, right? For Euro USD, guys, I'm actually very interested to see how we react, right, around this 1 point. I'll say 1 point. We could use the round number, right? We could use the round number. So I'm gonna move my structure. I'm gonna move this up a little bit, right? I'm very interested to see how price is gonna react around this 1.1000 level, right? Round psychological level, right? So if we're able to see price push up to around that 1.10 level, round psychological level, then yeah, there could be an opportunity, guys, for us to get involved with some shorts in this market. Right, so that's definitely where I'm going to be looking at for sure, right? My first area is going to be around this area, right, to look for some potential shorts on, okay? If we are able to get that market to come up into that level, then that would be dope, right? Because then we can go ahead and really look for a decent opportunity to ride it back down to the lows with the expectations of price eventually going ahead and breaking the lows. Right, we do have a set of equal lows down here as well, guys, right? These lows, are very significant because, there's liquidity that's built up around equal lows, right? So if we continue to react off of here and push higher, then you best believe there's probably a lot of traders that are going to be buying. So there could be a lot of liquidity or a liquidity pool that gets built up down there. So I want to target all the way down to here as well. So this is one opportunity that we could potentially expect. Right now, again, I'm always looking at I'm not going to say multiple biases because my main bias is still overall selling. But what happens if price says, you know what, Abel, we don't want to sell from there or anything, right? Maybe we want to go a little bit higher than similar concept. Even if price does go all the way back high, right, we're still going to be looking for the next opportunity to short no matter what. I'm still selling this no matter what, right? The only way that I'm going to be changing my bias, right, and say we're going long-term bullish is if we break a major trading range, right? If we break an overall trading range, then yeah, right, on a violation of a range, then we'll be looking for some overall reversals, right? Or then we can expect more bullishness, right? But for now, I'm going to still be looking for long-term sells, right, no matter what, okay? So if that happens, if price does push up way higher and wants to test the higher of this range, then that's fine. I'll just look to sell from up there. If we break above there, see, then we might, then price might just really continue and test, some newer highs, right? But until then, we're not going to go that far, right? I really do like, though, this opportunity here, guys, for Euro USD, right? There's a good opportunity here for us to prepare ourselves for some shorts, right? So this is what I'm going to be keeping my eyes on going into this week. Right, is really seeing how Euro USD plays out. Again, we are just stuck in this little range right now, just you know, creating all this choppiness, showing that momentum slowing down. So a breakout to the upside, a retest around the 1.10 level, and I'm most likely going to be looking for some shorts for sure. Right? I'm most likely going to be looking for some shorts for sure. Right? You guys with me, family? If you guys are with me, drop some 777s in the chat. Right? If you guys are with me, drop 777 in the chat right now. All right? If you guys are with me, drop 777. Let me know if you guys are with me. Right? If this makes a little bit more sense. Right? If this makes some sense, drop some 7s. If it doesn't make sense, drop some 3s. Right? Because again, I'm all about providing clarity. Right? So if I get a lot of 3s, then guess what? We're going to break it down. I'm going to try to break it down a little bit more. Or at least, you know, I'll re-talk about it. Let's see. Okay. All right, yeah. It's making a little bit of sense, right? It's not too complicated. Again, this is the thing about trading, guys, right? Trading itself is actually very simple. Like, trading is extremely simple, but it's not easy, right? Trading is simple, but it's not easy, right? The reason why it's not easy because it's much more than this, what we're talking about right now, right? Because we can all have the same exact bias, right? We can all have the same exact outlook, but we're not all going to have the same exact outcome, right? Which is kind of crazy. Right? It's crazy how you can send a signal, right? Just hypothetically speaking, I sent you guys a signal, right? And let's say, what we got? We got like 50 people on this call, right? And all of us take the same exact signal. It's going to be a fact, guys, that most people are still going to come out with different outlooks, right? Different results. Some people might, you know, ride the trade out and allow it to do what it has to do. Other people might get fearful and end up closing out too soon, closing out early. There's so many different factors, right? So again, trading itself is simple because identifying where we can look for trades from is very simple. But having the discipline and the patience, right, and the understanding of risk management is what makes trading so hard. It's because people lack discipline. A big reason why people don't see results, guys, is not because they don't understand how to do this. This is the easy part. It's because they lack discipline. I mean, really think about it, guys, right? Think about how many times you marked up a chart and you were actually correct on the markup, but you didn't win because your own mindset, because your own emotions, right? Because you lack discipline, because you over leveraged. It happens, right? Trading is truly all about your ability to control your emotions, right? Your ability to be disciplined. That's all trading truly is. So trading is extremely simple. This is simple to understand, but it's very hard and it's not easy to win consistently. Because we get in our own heads, right? We get in our own minds, right? We do more harm to ourselves than anybody else can, right? And that's just the reality, guys. So yeah, this looks very, very good. Let's see, leaving Broadway girls alone. You're hilarious. You know what's crazy? I wish I could play my music, right? But then YouTube won't copyright it, and then they gonna remove all the sound, and you guys won't even be able to hear me to talk, right? If I played, you know, copyrighted music, which is why we can't. So that's why I gotta stick to the instrumentals. Right, and I can't even just play any instrumentals, right? I gotta play non-copyright instrumentals, right? But guys, this is an opportunity that we can look at for Euro USD. Keep your eyes on this one, right? Not bad. If we're able to see price pull back, right? Again, the keyword here is if we're able to see price pull back, right? Then we can look for that opportunity to get involved. Okay, if the keyword there is if we see price pull back. Right now, does price have to really pull back all the way? It doesn't have to. Right, so another opportunity that you can look at, guys, is say we just see a very basic breakout, right? Let the trade go, a retest, and then you can also look for a continuation like that as well, right? That's another potential opportunity, guys, to get involved here for Euro USD, right? Very simple. If price doesn't pull all the way back up for us, then you can just look for the breakout of retest and then try to get into a trade just like that as well. But overall, the main bias here, guys, is that I want to see that thing go like this. I want to see that thing go like this, right? I want to see that thing go like that, right to the downside. I'm bearish. I personally do not care truly too much about the buys. Like, I'm focused on the sells, right? I want to align myself with the sell because that's what the overall bias truly is. Right, so overall, not a bad outlook here, though, for Euro USD. It's either we're going to pull back, give us an entry to go short around that 1.10 level, or we can go ahead and break this low, retest, and then go ahead and ride continuations like that itself. But overall, it looks really good, right? Not a bad setup. I really think we're going to go ahead and run these lows sometime this week, okay? I want to be involved with that run of the lows. All right, so that's Euro USD, guys. And again, we're keeping things a little bit bigger, higher time frame, just because I want you guys to be prepared for the whole week. All right, let's see what else we got here. Right, let's go ahead and take a look at the pound dollar. Right, another one of my favorite pairs, pound dollar. Let's see what we got here. Now, keep in mind, guys, right, we do have a lot of news for this week. All right, so just keep that in mind. We do have a lot of news, right? And obviously, based on news, based on what happens with the news, right, we might have to change our bias, right? Again, there's nothing wrong with changing your bias, guys, once you get enough data, right? If the data changes, then your bias might have to change as well. There's nothing wrong with that, all right? I change my bias when I have to, right? I could start the week off, say extremely bullish for one pair, but data comes out, and it completely changes it. I'm like, nope, I'm not going bullish no more. Now I'm going bearish. It happens. It's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what you're supposed to do. As a trader, you have to be able to adjust to the markets, right? It's very, very important. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look here, guys, at pound dollar, right? What's the bias here for pound dollar, guys? Right? What's the bias here for pound dollar? Right? Are we bullish? Are we bearish? Very simple, right? Are we bullish? Are we bearish here? Let me know in the chat. Are we bullish or are we bearish here? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Are we bullish or are we bearish? Yep. Yeah, we're bearish. Right? I mean, look at this. Right? What has the market been doing? Don't overcomplicate it. Right? Again, I did go back to the daily time frame again because I always like to give up my bigger outlook. You know, I like to give my bigger outlook. Right? But yeah, we bearish here. Right? Bearish, guys. Right? We have in a bearish market. Right? For those of you guys that are newer to the markets, right? That are newer to trading. Okay? Bearish means that the market is going to the downside. That's what that means. Okay? Bearish means that the market is going to the downside. All right, so let's see what else we got here now. All right, let's go ahead and now that we identified the trend, let's identify some key levels. All right, we got this key level right here. We got the lows right here that price actually pierced down below, right? We actually spiked down below this low and immediately rejected, right? Which means this could have been an area of liquidity that price just tapped into. Okay? But overall, guys, we want to look for sells. Okay, let me actually go ahead and highlight another key level as well. All right, we actually got a few in here that we could look at. Right, but I'm going to look at this level, and I'm also going to highlight this minor level. Okay, now, one thing you don't want to do is get too crazy with the key levels where you have a million in your chart. Right, don't have a million key levels on your chart because then it's only going to confuse you. Right, but looking at pound dollar, guys, I'm really interested to see. Right, this is exactly what I'm looking for going into this week. Right, if we're able to push back up, right, for pound dollar, I'm interested to see how we actually react around this 1.31 level, right? I'm very interested in this 1.31 level, right, for an opportunity to actually short this market, right? Somewhere, I'm gonna show you guys exactly, right? Somewhere around these levels up here is really where I'm interested in shorting this market. Okay, so if we're able to see price push all the way back up, which probably could happen tonight, the way it's looking. All right, the way it's looking. Let me go straight to the 1 hour. All right, if we're able to push back up, I'm very interested, guys, in potential shorts around this. I'm gonna give you guys my exact, because I already have a markup, guys, that I have for pound dollar, right, that I'm looking at. Right, I'm very interested in something like this coming into this week. This is gonna be my setup, guys. And again, for those of you guys that don't know, I'm more of a day trader / swing trader. Right? Yes, I do scalp when the opportunity presents itself, right? But, you know, when I'm looking at bigger picture analysis, yeah, I like to look at bigger opportunities here, right? I'm more of a set it and forget it type of guy, right? I don't like just sitting in front of the computer, guys, all day long trying to scalp in and out of the markets. That's not my thing, right? I could do it, and I will if I have to, right? But I like to set it and forget it, right? So if we're able to see price push all the way back up here, all right, now again, that might be asking for a lot, but if we are able to see it, guys, I'm definitely going to be shorting this market from up there. Right, I really want to see that happen. All right, I really want to see that happen. Right, price come all the way up to this 1.13 level, and then look for an opportunity to short off of that 1.13 level. Right now, a reason why I'm very interested in trading up here, right, is because I'm really trying to identify, guys, where the institutions are. Right, I want to align myself now with the retail community because the retail community sucks at trading. I'm just being honest. I'm sorry to say it, but I'm just being honest. Right, the retail community is garbage. Right, the retail community is usually losing. All right, the retail community is actually providing the liquidity for these institutions to do what they got to do, and it's not just the retail community, but you know it happens. Right, so I want to align myself where the big boys is at. Right, where is there evidence of fast price action truly occurring? Right, or a lot of momentum truly coming in. Well, this drop right here clearly had a lot of momentum. All right, I'm interested, guys, in getting myself aligned with this momentum that we've seen. Now, a reason why I'm very interested up here is, again, I'm looking at this last bullish candle, right? And this last bullish candle, guys, is actually telling us a story in itself, right? That story right here, guys, is that this market ended up spiking up, most likely just to capture liquidity, right? So this blue candle is what captured liquidity, right? Because liquidity is important in this market, guys. The market is going to go towards areas of liquidity, right? So if this is the candlestick that captured liquidity before we shifted and started going back down, then that's really where I want to align myself back at, right? So this is probably going to be one of my favorite setups, guys, going into this week. If we're able to push all the way back up there, then I'm 100% going to be taking that shorting opportunity. No questions asked. I'm going to be risking 2%, right? This opportunity risking 2% is going to go for around, I'll say maybe just under 8%, around 7.5% gains. That's all day, right? For any of you guys that are doing prop firms, you're risking 2%. All you got to do is make 8 to 10% on that first round or the second round, and you're passing the challenge, right? So I'm very comfortable with this. This, like I said, is probably one of my favorite ones going into this week. In fact, guys, if you guys want to take this setup, write down the numbers. Go ahead and set a sell limit, right? I'm already looking at it. I already have it set, right? So if we get up into this level, I'm going to be shorting the hell out of this, right? With the expectations of price going lower. Okay, now again, please do not over leverage this week, guys. Proper risk, right? Really utilize proper risk for this for this week more than, I mean, you should always use proper risk, but definitely going into this week, right? Because we have so much. Do I have to show you guys the calendar again? Right, we have a ton of news, right? So yeah, we can have our bias, but the market doesn't care about what we think. The market doesn't care about our setup. Right, if it's going to change directions, it's going to change directions, right? And this week is going to be extremely volatile, so just don't over leverage, right? That's all you can do. Just, again, control the things that you can actually control. We can't control overall long-term direction. We don't control that. That's out of our hands, right? But what we control, guys, we can control the amount of risk that we actually set for ourselves. We can control where our stop loss is. We can control where our targets are going to be, right? There's certain things that we can control, and that's what we want to focus on. We don't want to focus too much on what we can't control. So yeah, I'm very interested, guys, in looking at this short at around this 1.313 level. Okay, 1.313 level. Right, see, we got my guy Drew in the building. Shout out to my brother Drew. I appreciate you. Kevin in the building. What's going on, Kevin Hernandez? How you doing, bro? I appreciate you as well. Right, if we're able to push all the way back up here, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, I would love to see that. Now, again, do we have to push all the way back up there? The market don't have to do nothing. All right, the market does not have to do that. So if the market just actually continues dropping instead, then just look for a very simple break and retest. Okay, don't overcomplicate it. All right, I'm looking for it up here, but if it doesn't and it just continues dropping, then I'll just look for a break and retest, and then go ahead and try to align myself with the shorting opportunities at that point. Okay, let's see what we got here. GBP is volatile. It 100% is, right? The pound is probably one of the most volatile currencies that we have from a currency standpoint, right? Obviously, there's a lot more different assets that are more volatile, like gold and things like that. The metals and the commodities are extremely volatile, but from a currency standpoint, the pounds are probably the most volatile ones for sure. All right, so you definitely got to be aware of that 100%. 100%. All right, you're definitely right about that. Okay, let me go ahead and see what we got here now. But yeah, overall, guys, this is what I'm looking for, right? This is what I'm looking for. This is my main move. If it doesn't happen, then you could look for opportunities to short from this middle point, or you could just wait for the breakout. If I'm being honest, if I do not get price to pull back all the way up here, right, then I'm not gonna personally. And again, this is the thing, right? The market gonna do what it has to do, right? Can the market go ahead and sell from this level right here? I mean, it's very possible for it to do that, all right? But I like this level up here just because I believe, again, it's all my opinion, right? Don't shoot me if we're wrong. It is what it is. But I believe there could be a lot of liquidity that's being built up at this level of resistance, which would probably get ran. That's my opinion, right? So I'm not sure if I will take a setup here. I mean, even if I did, we're only going to be risking 2% either way. So if you do like, say, just looking for this very simple break and retest opportunity like this, I mean, do what you do. Just use proper risk, right? Use proper risk. And if it doesn't work out, I mean, you're only going to be losing a fraction anyways, right? And if it doesn't work out and you get stopped out because price does want to go higher, then it's cool. It is what it is. Charge it to the game and then go ahead and just jump into this opportunity instead, right? Because again, this is the thing, guys. Like I've been trading now for 6.5 years, going on 7 years. So I done seen it all, right? I seen price come and do very simple break and retest like this, right? That's why I'm not going to go away from it, right? But I've also seen price utilize these same exact obvious levels that you will be looking at break and retest as areas just to trap you to build up liquidity only for price to run it. I've seen it all happen, right? So again, I'm not shying away from any potential play here. I'm just looking at what I'm most comfortable with. All right. If I do take this trade, it will just be a very short, it'll be risking nothing, right? I'm risking 1%. Right? But if I take this trade up here, see, I'm a little bit more confident with this one up here. So then we'll go ahead and ride it like that. All right, I hope this is making sense, guys. Right? I hope this is making sense. All right, because that's what it's all about. Right? Keeping things simple and providing that simplicity in the markets. All right, let's see what else we got here. Why didn't you put your stops above all previous highs? Looks like there is still some highs not covered. Right? Yeah, it's because, again, I'm really, for me personally, when I'm looking, especially for, like, say, this one right here, because I'm pretty sure you're probably talking about this, right? Because this stop loss right here is, it's above this high right here, which I believe was, something that captured liquidity, right? My stop right here is here because I'm going off of the fact that I believe this candlestick captured liquidity, and that's where the institution started selling. So I want to put my stops above here, all right? But for this one, I'm more so just keeping it on the outside of the aqua, all right? Because I'm using the aqua or the 50-period moving average as pretty much like my guide for this actual market. So if I were to take this, I want to make sure that I'm giving myself a tight stop loss and trusting the actual aqua. All right, I hope that makes sense. Right? Typically, you can potentially come all the way up here, but then at that point, I wouldn't even want to. I wouldn't even be interested in that. Right? I wouldn't be interested in that. Right? I'm really just gonna be using the aqua as my barrier. Right? Because the aqua acts as support, just like it has been right here. Right? Every time price came to the aqua, it rejected. All right, price spiked it, it rejected. Came back up, it rejected, right? So if I were to take an entry from here, then I want to see that same exact, reaction or rejection from the aqua that we've been seeing. And if it doesn't work out, then I want to get out that market as soon as possible. Because if we break up above the aqua, then there's a good chance we're probably just going to get up into this area anyways, and then I'll just take this opportunity instead. Okay? But yeah, this is not a bad opportunity here, guys, right? GBP USD is setting up nicely, right? It's setting up nicely as well. So, this is another one that I'm going to be really, really keeping my eyes on, going into this week for sure. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at gold, right? I know gold is a fan favorite, right? Gold and the indices are probably, fan favorites, right? What the gold market is doing, what the indice market is doing. We'll take a quick look at those as well. All right, so gold, guys, right? We spoke about gold again on last week's session. And I told you guys I have no intentions on wanting to sell gold, right? Like I legit don't, I do not want to sell gold. That's just me personally, right? And the reason for that is because when I'm looking at things from more of a fundamental standpoint, when I'm looking at, these metals, right? Because I understand, guys, that these metals are safe haven currencies, right? And in times of fear and chaos, these benefit tremendously, right? So because of that, I'm more so just only interested in looking for opportunities to buy gold. I have no intentions on want to sell it whatsoever. I'm only looking for opportunities to buy. Okay? So with that being said, where can we actually look for the next opportunity to potentially buy gold? All right, well, last week we actually just seen price come up and push higher and really start to show a lot of momentum. Now, we did not break this level of structure right here just yet that we're actually trading off of. But I do believe going into this week, guys, we could see price actually end up breaking this level of structure right here that we're actually at. But since we're at a very strong level already, I wouldn't be surprised if price actually decides to pull back. Say we come and test this level of structure down here at around 1937. And then from there, I'll be interested in looking for some longs. Right? If we can go ahead and see price push down, I'll be interested in some longs. Or if price just says, nope, we're going to actually just break this first, then we can just go look for a very simple break and retest as well and ride it out like that as well. All right? Keep things simple. That's not complicated. It's either we're going to wait for the pullback and then look for the buy off of structure, off the higher low, or we let price break structure, look for the higher low off of that structure, and then we go ahead and we look for that continuation. All right, that's as simple as it gets. Again, trading does not need to be complicated, guys, right? In fact, we don't want it to be complicated. The more complicated we make it, right, the more emotionally involved we're going to become. Right? So it's either we're going to buy off of here, down here around 1936, 1937, or we'll let the break and retest occur, and then we just look for a buy off, say, 1948, 1947. Right? That's as simple as it gets for gold. Again, we're not complicating it. Now, there's a lot of news. Things can change ever so quickly, so be mindful of that, right? But I do like the opportunity here, right? I would not be scared, guys, to actually buy up gold from these levels down here at around 1936, 1937 level, right? I would not be fearful at all, right, to take that type of opportunity whatsoever, right? It is setting up absolutely nicely, okay? So that one looks good overall. Now, let's go take a look at the indices, right? Because like I said, I know that is a fan favorite, right? A lot of people love trading US 30, SPX 500, NAS 100, right? These indices, guys, that are extremely, extremely volatile, especially US 30. This thing moves extremely, extremely fast, right? So if you do not have a large enough account size, I don't recommend you guys to be trying to trade, right, these indices, right? Maybe SPX and NAS, because they're not as, I'm not going to say volatile, but they don't move as, not as volatile. Right, but US 30, definitely avoid it unless your broker, right, has smaller contract sizes for it. Okay, avoid it, right? But for now, what do I think can happen? Right, well, let's go ahead and go to bigger picture real quick, guys, for these indices and see what's really going on here. Okay, now obviously these, you really want to be aware, guys, of fundamental analysis if you want to trade these, because these are obviously going to be influenced more than anything by fundamental events. Okay, so what have we been seeing most recently for these indices? Well, we just came from an overall uptrending market, which we have been in for a while. But then we seen the market come and shift to the downside, break structure, pull back, break structure again. So we're creating lower lows, lower highs. Now we just created a new lower high. I would not be surprised if this week, right, we actually start to push lower for these indices, right? I'm expecting, guys, some short-term bearishness to come in for these indices, right? That's just my opinion. Again, I could be wrong, but I'm really liking the potential for this thing to actually go ahead and continue going short, right? So I would be looking for selling opportunities, guys, for these indices if I were to actually go ahead and trade it. I would love to see this low right here, right, absolutely get taken out sometime this week. Right, taken out, and then eventually going ahead and continuing to the downside, right? And it's going to be very similar, guys, for all these indices overall. You know, whether it's US 30, whether it's SPX, whether it's NAS, you know, for the most part, they move somewhat similar, right? But I do want to see more bearishness to come in going into this week. Okay, more bearishness to come in going into this next week. That's my potential bias, right, for these indices, guys. So again, we're not going to get too much into that, right? Very simple. I'm looking for shorts if I am going to be trading it to see if we can continue going ahead and selling to the downside. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at cryptos, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap it up with cryptocurrencies, guys, right? Very, very phenomenal currencies. I love cryptocurrencies. If y'all is not right, invested in cryptos, guys. Now, again, there's a big difference between investing it and trading it. Big difference between the two, right? But if you're not invested into it long term, then I highly, highly recommend you guys to go ahead and actually get invested. All right, guys, you got to understand this cryptocurrency market is a big deal because, guys, this is like a once in a lifetime opportunity that we have here. We're legit. We have technology that is disrupting the industry, right? There is going to be a point in time where Bitcoin is worth $1 million. And if you don't believe that, then I'm sorry for your loss, right? Because it's going to happen, guys. Right now, again, don't look at 42,000 and be like, man, that's actually pretty expensive. Again, if we expect Bitcoin to reach $1 million, 42,000 is actually pretty cheap. If Bitcoin is at $1 million, right? You don't have to buy a full Bitcoin. You could buy pieces of it. $20 here, $20 there, $50 here, $50 there, right? Buy pieces of it. You don't need to go crazy, but get invested, right? Now, what do I think can happen for these cryptocurrencies? Well, I've been actually saying for the longest time that the bear market is here, all right? Guys, cryptocurrencies move in cycles. Every 4 years is very predictable on how to read these markets. Right now, we're just going through, in my opinion, this bearish cycle, which is why ever since we reached a high of 68,000, we just been going lower and lower and lower. And I don't see that stopping anytime soon. You know, again, guys, the next Bitcoin halving isn't until another 2 years, right? The next time we see Bitcoin and I could be wrong, because obviously this time around is completely different than all the other times. We have a lot more adoption now. But I wouldn't be surprised, guys, if we see Bitcoin continuing to roll over. I would not be surprised whatsoever, right? So in my opinion, I think we can continue seeing some more bearishness to come in for these cryptocurrencies, right, coming forward, right, moving forward. Now, Bitcoin is the mother of all cryptos, right? So obviously this one is gonna hold the most weight, right? Then followed by Ethereum and all the other altcoins. But, you know, Bitcoin, in my opinion, is gonna continue to drop, right? I could see us, guys, continuing to go lower and lower and lower to the downside, right? So if I was trading it, that's what I want to look for, right? More opportunities to short it. If I'm investing into it, then I'm just buying it whenever I get a chance, right? And just dollar cost average, right? DCA, dollar cost average, right? If you buy it here and it drops lower, buy some more. That's if you're investing. If you're trading it, I would like to be selling Bitcoin into this week. Okay? Let me see what we got here, guys. Let me see the chat real quick. Let's see. I like shorts on Indices as well. I def agree. Yeah, let's get it. Oh, 100%. All right, let's see. Big deal. All right, 100% it is. A very big deal.
Bluetooth connected.
Very big deal. All right. But, family, let's have a phenomenal week this week. That's going to be it for me today. Right. Again, I'm really going to be interested in Euro USD going into this week. Euro USD shorts. GBP USD shorts as well. Right. Those are going to be the main ones I'm really interested in at. And let's just go ahead and have a phenomenal week. Again, trading itself, guys, don't overcomplicate it. Right? Keep trading as simple as possible. Right? Simplicity is going to allow you to really go ahead and see the results that you're after. Right? But if you're not keeping things simple, then you're going to struggle. Right? Focus on simplicity. Right? What I just taught you guys today, rewatch this video, rewatch last week's stream actually, and you guys will see how accurate we were because we're keeping things simple. Right? I say this all the time, guys. Right? I don't remain profitable. Right? So let's keep things simple. Right? Let's make sure that we continue to do what we got to do. Right? And just like the quote at the top of the screen says, guys, make sure to trade your plan and not your emotions. But our family, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Thank you guys for rocking with me today. And I'll be back next week with another live stream for y'all. Another live session. In fact, guys, I'm actually considering doing some live New York session with y'all. Would you guys be appreciate? Do you guys want some live New York sessions? Right? Do you guys want some live New York session trading? Let me know in the chats. Right? Because I'm actually, I'm considering doing some live sessions, right? Maybe a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Just wake up at 6, 7 in the morning Eastern time and trade New York session with you guys. Would you guys like that? Would that be fire? Would that be dope? All right, let me know because we might have to do that, right? Every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Wake up at 7 in the morning, 6, 7 in the morning, Eastern, and just go crazy. Look for opportunities in real time together. I think that will be fire. Or I think that we should do that. I think we should do that for sure. Right? So we're gonna talk about that a little bit more, guys. If anything, we'll start that next week for sure, right? So I appreciate you guys. I love y'all. Thank you guys for rocking with me today. Right? It's been another phenomenal start to the week. I'm excited for this week. And just like I said, guys, trade your plan, not your emotions. Let's get it. I appreciate y'all, family. Love you guys, and I'll see you guys later. Let's go.